Hey guys, it's Frenchy Powell with Permaculture Northeast, and I'm really excited because today is the last video for our Ruth Stout potato bed. Now it's really crazy because I thought at the beginning that this bed would be a very minimal work bed. And while that was true at the beginning, it only took less than 2 hours, probably only really an hour a month of labor after it was set up, just maintenance, and coming in and picking grass. I ended up leaving it for the past month and not doing any work on it, and it really, as you can kind of see, only has potatoes. There's some grass that's coming up, but it's very small. It's only in a few locations, and it hasn't really dominated the area like I thought it would if we let it go out of hand. But the potato plants are starting to die back, which for me is the sign that they're ready to be picked. Generally, if they go to flower, you can pick them as soon as that. Or if you want them to get a little larger, you can let them go until the plants really start to die back. And so we've got in our blue potatoes, and again, we did an experiment here where we have our path, and on this side of our path, we let the potatoes grow as they normally do. And on this side of the path, we cut off the tops of the plants so that they bushed out more. And right off of hand, if you look at it, it doesn't seem, except for this area here, like they got a lot bushier compared to this side. But maybe there's a little bit of a difference, so we're going to dig them up and see what we get. And so first I'm going to start with this potato plant here. And what I'm going to do, you can come in close and see this, is find the base of the potato plant and dig it up. And there's our potatoes there. Those are good size, and then we had already lifted that plant up before. So let's lift up a brand new one. That's the second one, so let's get to this base. This is a smaller guy. I might move around some of the grass. And already finding potatoes. And some come up with the plant. Others are just on the ground. And then they're really easy to just pinch off and pile up. I was pulling potatoes some the other day with my dad, and he, who grew up with the traditional style of harvesting and planting potatoes, said that's a lot easier than when I did it. So yeah, the fact that you don't have to get a potato fork out here and dig through saves you a lot of hassle, saves you a lot of effort. So we got a good 8 potatoes that we'll keep off there. A lot of the really small guys I'll end up putting back in the ground. I could save them, but the potatoes that I've left in the ground have come back up wild the next year and given me another harvest. So I'll leave the small ones in, see if they did that, or if they'll do that again. So far I know the red potatoes did that here. So let's check the other side. Let's go to this potato plant here. Try to walk on where I don't have anything. Right offhand, this is seeming a lot bushier and a lot more. Wow, this is all one plant. That's all one plant, and it did turn out to, the topping off did a good job in size of plant. Let's see if it converted into potatoes. Okay, so maybe that's 2 or 3 plants, but let me try to flip this over. You can come in around here and see what we got. Wow. Look at those. Oh, running away. We got good potatoes. Maybe this is 2 plants. I would be really surprised if this is 1 plant. I would say conclusively topping off worked if this was 1 plant. But it looks like it may have been 2 or so that we tossed in there, or 3 maybe with these stems. It just got intertwined. But anyway, we're going to take a break, and my wife and I are going to harvest these potatoes, and we're going to see what we get, and then we're going to pile them up and give an end result. So let's cut real quick while we harvest these potatoes. Okay, so the results are in. took us a little longer than expected for picking all the potatoes and harvesting them. It did get dark outside, but like I said, our results are in. We did finish with flashlight picking all the potatoes, and we had a good harvest of reds and blues, even though to me they look a lot more purple. But anyway, on one side of me is the topped off side, and on one side is the regular side. And actually, that's the regular. So the plants that we topped off, this is what we got, and then the regular ones produced more. So these are 5-gallon buckets here, and then we got some extra. But it's hard to say, again, like, did we plant more on the non-topped off side than the topped off side? So really, significantly, there's no difference, it seems, from our little experiment. The reds did do better. They were easier to harvest than the blue potatoes. They tended to stay more in one little group, and when you pulled up the plant, they held on well and were easy to harvest. The blues sometimes buried into the ground, sometimes spread out a little more. But all in all, good harvests on both. I'm really happy about what we ended up getting off of it. We did see on some of the plants that if we let it go longer, they would have probably matured a little bit more, but some were already starting to get pretty bug-eaten and going bad. So I'm glad we brought them in when we did and took advantage of the good weather. Otherwise, yeah, the topping off didn't really seem to work. We did notice some of the plants were bushier, but not really a significant difference, as we said. And definitely the larger plants produced a lot more potatoes than the smaller ones. That's a no-brainer. But we couldn't really tell, like, was it the lower section of the garden that produced more, or the higher section, or was it this area or that area? It was really hard to tell where we got the most potatoes from and what resulted in the largest potatoes. It did seem that some of the plants were almost sacrificial plants, that you'd have a good run of really nice size, good potatoes, good quality, and then you'd have one plant that had really bug-eaten potatoes, so we don't know why that is. But great harvests. We're gonna wash these off, and then we'll post in the comments below or in the description how much we got the amount in pounds after we sort out all the bad ones and wash off to see how much we have. And then yeah, definitely positive run for a first-year Ruth Stout throwing potatoes on the grass. Highly recommend. Check out our earlier videos. If you liked what we did, give us a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. This is Friendship Pal with Permaculture Northeast. Catch you guys around.